This is the story of a girl who had her period and killed the whole town. And when her classmates burnt into ash, she couldn't be happier with her bloody smile. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, people of all ages, my name is David Popovich, aka the Bookworm, and welcome to Bookworm Reviews. Sit back and relax as we dive into Carrie by Stephen King. Back to the master. Stephen King's Carrie is an important book in the Stephen King catalog, mainly because it was the first novel of his to be published. This was what introduced the world to what King can and has done for over 40 years, setting up the common tropes, characters, storylines, and such. And King hated it. Before Carrie, King was writing a bunch of short stories, but was making ends meet by teaching English. He actually wrote Carrie more or less on a dare when someone criticized his short stories for being too macho. That he couldn't even deal with the idea of writing about a woman. God, Maud was a real bitch, wasn't she? Maud was a character from the 70s who was an outspoken liberal feminist, and why am I explaining that joke to you? Look it up yourself! Anyway, King took to dare and started to write what would become the shower scene in the book, but he didn't like what he wrote, so he threw it into the trash. It wasn't until his wife fished it out, read it herself, that she encouraged that King had something going on. King states he didn't have any other ideas to play with, so he continued to write Carrie, expanding it from a short story into a novel. The book got picked up, did okay in hardcover, but when it was released in paperback, sales exploded, and the rest is history. Now, I assume most of you know what the plot of Carrie is about. If not because of the book, then the famous film from the 70s, which if you haven't seen, then you need to fix that. But for those who, for some reason, don't know, Carrie is about a girl who lives the worst life possible. Carrie White is the definition of an outcast. The kind you all know because you've all seen one. She was a chunky girl with pimples on her neck and back and buttocks. Her wet hair completely without color. She looked the part of the sacrificial goat, the constant butt, believer in the left-handed monkey wrenches, perpetual foul-up. And she was picked on for all her little imperfections, how she never seems to know what is normal, the perfect little punching bag for everyone to use as they deem fit. Then one day, while in the school shower, Carrie experiences her first period. But no one knows that. Period! It was becoming a chant, an incantation. Someone in the background, perhaps Hargensen again, Sue couldn't tell in the jungle of echoes, was yelling, "Plug it up!" with hoarse, uninebriated abandon. Period! 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 What they don't know is that the combination of Carrie's period, along with the chant of the girls, releases something within her. What none of them knew, of course, was that Carrie White was telekinetic. I'm sorry. It's just, the bluntness of that line is so funny. It's just a few pages in, and King doesn't hint at anything or foreshadow it. It's just, then and there, guess what? She's a telepath! Screw you, subtlety! Carrie has been facing this torment for years, and like many outcasts, she has thoughts. Imagine Chris Hargensen, all bloody and screaming for mercy, with rats crawling all over her face. Good. That would be good. And she has little to no support. The school board does nothing, and her mother is a religious nut. Like if Kim Davis and the Westboro Baptist Church had a baby whose only purpose in life was to forsake a child for the action of just being. Praying and sobbing and screeching, crazy sounds, and Margaret telling the little girl to get herself into her closet and pray. The little girl crying and screaming that she was sorry, she forgot. But after the shower incident, Carrie starts to take notice of some of the strange moments in her life. Her mind she groped for a word. Had flex. That was not right, but it was very close. There had been a curious mental bending, almost like an elbow curling a dumbbell. That wasn't exactly right either, but it was all she could think of. An elbow with no strength, a weak baby muscle. Flex. She starts to practice and learn what she can do. All the while, one of the girls from the shower incident, Sue, wants to make amends for what a monster she was by having her boyfriend ask Carrie out to a date to the spring prom. I don't go around with anyone I don't want to, Tommy said patiently. I'm asking you because I want to ask you. Ultimately, he knew this to be the truth. If Sue was making a gesture of atonement, she was doing it only at second hand. They were halfway to Wing 4. His class was the other way, walking together, but perhaps only by accident, when she said, almost too quietly to hear, I'd love to. Love to. But another girl, Chris, got banned from the prom because she would not do the required punishment. So she plans to get back at Carrie because clearly it was her fault. This isn't over, Chris Harkinson said, unzipping her skirt with a rough jab and reaching for her fashionably frayed green gym shorts. This isn't over by a long way. And she was right. And you should know what horrors lay await for Carrie, as for the first time, she begins to experience joy, standing up to her zealous mother, having her classmates seeing her as a human being, able to show everyone who Carrie White is, and how it all comes crashing down, because some people are just assholes. You know, this book is often categorized as a horror book, but I see it more as a tragedy. Most of that comes from how the book is structured in a form known as, I'm gonna botch this word so bad, epistolary, which means a book written as a series of documents, letters, diaries, newspapers, and such, used to explore and hint at the horrors to come, because while there's the standard objective story, these explanatory elements give you a sense of dread as they reveal bit by bit the horror that's about to fall down on everyone, like a ticking time bomb that no matter what happens, will always explode. And while Carrie's powers are outlandish, her suffering isn't. Whether it's an abusive mother or high school bullying, King shows an unflinching view of just what people will do because, for no reason more than it's just the norm. Hell, the book suggests that the reason Carrie is even made fun of was because she prayed during lunch. And we go to the full extreme, where the put-down girl decides to fight back. But even when those who deserve it get their due, you don't feel satisfied, because all you see is just a girl given the worst possible outcome, and in the process, losing much of herself. Now, the only thing I will say about the book is that it can be a bit shaky in the beginning. It takes a while for the characters and story to gel, and it does show that this is a first novel. But that doesn't really matter, because all the things that make King a great writer are present here as well. And again, because of this book, we are given a whole library of iconic stories. Carrie is a good book, and one you should read. Is it possible to give a fictional character a hug? What about you, Internet? What's your opinion about Carrie? A special thanks to Casper Richner for suggesting the book. If you have a book you would like me to review, let me know in the comments below. Well, after that, I think I'm going to take a little break. Things are getting a little busy around here, and fall is right around the corner, so I have some things I need to get ready. But I'll see you soon. With what, you may ask? Till next time, have a nice day.